Hi, my name is Holly, and I'm gonna go ahead and start the week five discussion. Um, the first question I want to answer is about the comment by Rosalind Carter made on page 781 of our textbook, and this quote reads: "I always said that mental health got what was left over after everybody else in the health field got what they wanted." Coming from a psychiatric nurse, this is definitely 150,000% true in all aspects. Number one, you look at Behavioral Charlotte, also known as Randolph, compared to the other Atrium health facilities. It's like it's so I don't know how to say this nicely. It's so poorly um, furnished, decorated. Um, we are the last to get any new things. We literally just got Halo yesterday. Like, we're the last to get everything. Um, and we were one of the last HM Health facilities to finally have our name changed to Atrium Health. That just happened about 3 weeks ago. Um, so not only in just the location and the building aspect do we get the last, but also um, our mental health patients seem to get the low end of um, the totem pole when it comes to their care. If they're not directly in a mental health facility, they're outpatient or inpatient, their mental health needs are, if they are even addressed by healthcare professionals, then it's definitely the last thing to be addressed, if it's even addressed at all. Most of the time, it's not um, addressed. So, mental health just overall, even though society's doing better with recognizing it and accepting it, there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of bias. And one of the conclusions that I came up with in my community assessment, um, and like that I'm going to be focusing on in my final project, is that we as a society, we pick and choose which mental health conditions are okay to talk about and acceptable. We see a lot of stuff on social media about depression and panic attacks and anxiety and suicidal ideation, and where all of that is like a big deal and it's all important. We don't hear about psychosis. We don't hear about voices. We don't hear about personality disorders, and these are all very real and very common disorders. Other mental health disorders. It's not just all about depression and anxiety. We don't see anything. I think I made an example like you'll see like 10 things to do when having a panic attack, or 10 self-care tips for anxiety or depression, but you never see 10 steps, even one step on what to do when the voices are so loud you can't think, or they're telling you to blow your brains out or blow the person next to you's brains out. It's just like you don't that's not talked about. That's still not acceptable in our society to bring up. When you think of a mental hospital, or a psych hospital, especially a psychiatric emergency department, most people still think of people in straitjackets being electrocuted and, getting shots in their butt around the clock. And it's just like that's not it. When you think of psychosis, when you think of schizophrenia, that's what a lot of people still think of, and that's not accurate. So, do I agree with the quote in this part of the book? Yes. I couldn't have said it better myself. The next one, how are health issues of caregivers relating to nursing management? I'm kind of gonna look at it as how it's related to nursing care, the overall care plan of the patient. I think that it's very important to include their caregiver and interventions and thoughts, um, like for specific for their caregiver, because the caregiver is such a big part of the client's treatment and maintenance of their chronic condition. Um, I have a great example right now in the emergency department. We have a 13-year-old male who's been with us for probably close to 20 days now. He has a severe intellectual disability, and he's also missing his 17th chromosome. So he is very, very high maintenance. Um, he cannot do really anything for himself. Um, he's very intrusive, has very poor boundaries, and he's come to us before. His story basically is that his the family moved from Maryland at the beginning of the summer because the patient's father had recently passed away, and ever since the change in environment, the change of dad not being around, the patient just really lost it and just did not do well with these changes. So we've seen this patient about 3 times since they've come in the summer. This is the longest time he's been here, and we are not able to get in touch with mom. And the thing is it's not that mom's a bad person. It's not that mom wants to abandon her child. I genuinely believe it has just gotten to a breaking point and she's had no respite care, and that this is her respite. Is it right? No. Is it abandonment? Yes. Is DSS involved? Yes. But it's still like, we could have done more, whether, in all aspects of the treatment team, not just nursing, but the social workers, the doctors, and definitely nursing. We all could have done a better job at providing respite services, ideas, you know, that are local for the mom. I know the current status is they're setting up a meeting um, with the one of our social workers, mom, and then Cardinal Innovations, which can provide um, some respite services. If not, start looking at placement, long-term placement, because it's just gotten too overwhelming for mom. And I can't help but think, what if it could have been different? What if we could have intervened early before it got to this stage, with mom, with the primary caregiver of this patient, and ultimately maybe provided her with some better options, for her to get, some much deserved, rest and break. And that way, it wouldn't have gotten to this 13-year-old boy basically being abandoned. So that's definitely something to think about. And that's definitely something I'm going to be thinking about a lot in my coming days as a nurse. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'm very excited that it's the last class of the semester. Bye.